A very great morning to you watching Western Television, wherever you're catching this show live from. Your most welcome. And today happened to be Monday, 22nd of May 2023. You have to know that we are counting down to the end of this particular month of May, and we will be crossing into a half of the year in the month of June. And for the government, you have to know that this is the month that all the ministries, departments and agencies and local governments will be finalizing the financial year 2022-2023, and then we shall be getting to another financial year 2023-2024 right on 1st of July. That will be the start of a new financial year, and so within the remaining days, 1 month and some days, these will just be for finalizing, expenditure of the financial year 2022-2023. And so this is the time that you will see government ministry, department and agencies rushing to implement certain programs and also projects in your area. And so don't be surprised. And this is the time that you have to be extra careful signing papers anyhow, because the accounting officers will take this opportunity to really move around with some pseudo papers for people to sign, so that they can really balance up their book properly, and some money need to be spent very fast. And so I am urging those that will be signing any paper from any government ministry, department or agency or local governments, be extra careful and read the paper properly. If not, you will be accounting for somebody, and your signature and your names will be used for providing accountability for the money that you have not even seen, you have not even touched, you have not even eaten. Yet some people have eaten the money, and so they want to balance up their books. And you will see also it will be a period of extensive workshops that will be organized here and there. And so you have to know, when you attend such workshops, you are attending it for accountability, because you will ask yourself, where were they? Where were they? Where were they hiding, with those issues and information that they want to share? And so this is what you need to know. But I love what the State House Anti-Corruption Unit is doing, moving around in different ministries, departments and agencies and local governments that we have in our country, Uganda, picking those few bad apples that are really, trying to disorganize this country in terms of development, because the amount of money that they steal from the public, coffer, it is a huge amount of money that's supposed to be used for other things. And so we have to be very careful at this particular time. This is my appeal to the general public, that let's open up our eyes whenever we are signing any paper at any time. And when you are being called, you have to ask those accountability questions before somebody really go around and begins, hoodwinking you to be part of that cartel of the people that they tend to steal from the public. And so that is what I felt it is important that I should be able to bring to your attention. 27 minutes past of 7 a.m. right here on Western Television, wherever you're catching the show live from. We welcome you this morning, where we have a lot for you this morning, and I will be telling you what you need to do, what you need to really write in terms of the opinion poll that we have this morning for you. And our opinion poll stands this morning: a primary school, private primary school here in Arua City, decided to terminate the contract of 6 teachers indefinitely, pending further investigation, because these teachers were able to participate in just concluded, recruitment of teachers in Arua City. And so when the school had that these teachers were part of the interviewees, you understand, and what the school had to do was to rush and sit down, write a letter of termination indefinitely to these 6 teachers. And so these 6 teachers are not well with the decision of the school, saying that they have a right to search for jobs, but that does not mean that they should be terminated from their workplace. So they are saying that the decision made by the school was uncalled for, and they are seeking what we call legal redress right there. And so if my producer can give us that particular story, we get to understand what is at play here before maybe you write in your comments in the opinion poll box that we do have. And then later on, I will be sampling those opinions of yours that you will be sending. Thank you very much, those who are catching us live using Zuko satellite this morning, channel 0073. We thank you, we appreciate you. Not forgetting those who are catching us live using that is the Star Times channel 477 one, we do appreciate you and we thank you very much. Not forgetting those who are catching us live from our socials. We are talking about YouTube page and also Facebook. We are coming to you live, and thank you very much wherever you are streaming us live from. We do appreciate you. We do not take you for granted. My name is Denis Oringi. Let's start with this first story of a school terminating a contract of 6 teachers indefinitely, and the school is called St. Kizito of Ediofe Orphans Primary School. Let's have more on this story.
In a letter dated 5th of May 2023, signed by the Munishino Castro Adeti, the chairperson of the School Management Committee, who doubles as the Vicar General of Arua Diocese, that was handed over to all the teachers affected. The school revealed, among other reasons, that the teachers went for the interviews without permission from the school authorities, and that keeping them around the school in service was seen to be a risky business. Now the 6 classroom teachers are threatening to take legal actions against the school administration. Angwania Ricky Richard, one of the classroom teachers, say the decision did not follow the legal guidelines of the institution.
Management. This letter was caused by the head teacher and endorsed by the SMC, that is the Reverend Father Mushino Castro Adeti. So these are the 2 people who acted to take this disproportionate action. Actually, what dismays us a lot is, if it was just the issue of attending the interviews, there are very many teachers on that compound who attended interviews in Maracha, in Terego, as well as Arua City. But these others are sidelined, they are kept in school. Why us who attended under Arua City? So this is indiscriminate. After the labor office, we shall go to courts of law. And even after here, we want to understand from URA whether they have been remitting our taxes, because we are taxpayers. And there are some allowances that were not subjected to taxes. And these allowances are more than the threshold. So we want also URA to come and understand why such taxes have not been paid on such allowances.
Mawagelibat, one of the affected teachers, revealed that the manner of the termination did not meet the criteria in any service point within the country, since they served the school for more than 1 year.
I personally guess, but I was contacted by deputy administration that tomorrow come to head teacher's office to pick your letter. I said it's okay, I'll come at 9. So I came to head teacher's office. Of course, after my colleagues had been contacted, also they had been informed with the same story about the same issue. So you go to the office. After going to the office, the head teacher will actually first of all tell you to sign in the visitor's book as if you're a visitor. Okay, like me, I signed. After signing, there is where you're supposed to indicate the reason for listing the office. So on asking the head teacher, he will tell you pick it. Actually, you write to pick it later. So if you ask letter of what content, but he could not actually reveal to me. So after writing the reason that he tells you to write, he openly tells you he has been directed to serve you with this letter. So you just pick your letter after walking a small distance and opening what is in the letter. You find it is indefinite suspension of your 2-year contract with the school. Just yesterday and today you received that kind of information. First of all, personal, I was actually mental. I felt disturbed.
Asiku Richard, one of the teachers, is now demanding for the fulfillment of the contract entitlements, since the school acted contrary to their agreed terms.
And since they did not use the right channel to terminate us as per the contract, in the contract it is written that for them to terminate you, they will have to give you 3 warning letters, and they will give you a 2 weeks notice before terminating you. But we are just called one day and the next day we are terminated. We are not given 2 weeks notice. So we deserve compensation for the rest of the months remaining
The Employment Act 2006 of the Republic of Uganda clearly stipulates that contracts shall be terminated without notices if only the employee has worked for less than 6 months, while a 2 weeks notice is applicable for those who have worked for more than 6 months but less than a year, and further explains that a month notice shall be given to an employee where he has worked between 1 year and 5 years. However, the school administration is yet to respond, as our attempts to get comments from them never yielded fruits. Frederick Dramatri, West Nile TV.
All right, thank you very much. You have heard from the persons who have been affected in this case. And so you have heard, we tried reaching the school administration. They could not really offer for us any answer in regards to this particular accusation and also the letters that we have seen as Western Television in regards to the story. And so we shall be able to make follow-up of the story maybe after the successful applicants have been really displayed for the members of the public, whether these 6 teachers are among those that have been picked by Arua City Authority to teach in the government schools that we do have in the city here. And so remember recently the city authority organized what we call they advertised, and also people applied and they did interviews, and so these 6 teachers are among the teachers who were able to appear for the interview. And so from a private school, these teachers want to join government school. Is it wrong for one to really, search for a job, and in the due course of the searching, you are terminated from your workplace? Is it a right decision that the school was able to make your comment using the comment box that we do have on YouTube and also on Facebook as well? And for those who are catching us live, using the satellite channels, the Zuku and the StarTime, you might also be interested in giving in your opinion. Get to your smartphone, just go to YouTube page of Western Television or Facebook page. Please like it, and then you'll be able to get the stream live there. And also just go to the comment section and then make your comment down. I will be able to sample the comments later on. Away from this matter of suspending these teachers indefinitely, let's come to the issue to do with the security here in Arua City. Remember last week there was a security guard belonging to SGA who was gunned down by a suspected, assailant in one of the, health, premises here in Arua at Novifina, that is located in Baruku, so that is Arua City. Later on, what happened? The assailant decided to take off with the gun even. But 2 days after this incident, police in Arua City, commanded by the DPC Arua City, Nasuja, they were able to really, recover a gun from also an armed person who, armed robber, who attempted to rob that is Rock Filling Station that is in also Arua City. And so when the security guard at Rock Filling Station narrated and described the person who threatened him with a gun, the DPC together with the police officers started combing the city area. Good enough, they were able to get this particular suspect around the hospital road, and he was put. He was shot, and fortunate enough, he disappeared with the gun wounds. But what he did, he had to drop the gun and he took off. And so police decided to recover that particular gun. And according to the statement of the police, they are saying that according to the forensic investigation or audit that has been done on the gun, it tells us that the gun was the same one that was used for killing the security guard at Novifina, that is a medical center here in Arua City. Police spokesperson for Western Sub-Region, Josephine Angushia, together with the DPC Arua City, were able to address a press conference in regards to this gun that was used for terrorizing the residents of Arua City. Let us have more on this story compiled by Frederick Dramadri.
Police at the Rosendro police station has recovered the gun that is believed to have been used to kill the private security guard who was on duty on 13th of May 2023 guarding a medical center known to be Novafina Medical Center in Arua City. According to the police, the same gun has been identified to be used in the several armed robbery attacks in the business centers within the city. During a press briefing at Arua Central Police Station, the police identified the gun with the registration number UGPSO 5640007110094, belonging to Security Group Africa SGA, a private security company, and have arrested 3 suspects in relation to the incidents. Jude Nasucha, the police commander in Arua City, says this recovery was possible through the intelligence reports and the vigilantes among the communities.
After I failed the robbery at the rock filling station, our teams went to the ground and pursued this said robber, and we recovered the rifle in question. In our custody, we have 3 persons arrested in relation to this SAR rifle. We recovered it. It has 1 round of ammunition. And when it went missing, it had 3 rounds. And when we sent the cartridge cases for ballistic analysis at forensics police headquarters, it indicated that the scene at the champion bed where somebody was shot in the west and a few man is robbed, and the murder at Novafinia clinic were all used by the same gun. However, we have managed to recover the gun in question.
Meanwhile, Joseph Nyangutia, the police public relations officer, Western Region, says the incidences of armed robbery in Arua City escalated in the recent past within the region shortly after the gun was reported missing.
The fingerprint from this weapon were the same as those ones from under the cartridges which were released by this weapon. So it is those cartridges which have linked this gun to these scenes of crimes. Because immediately after shooting, the bullets were released and the cartridges remained at these 3 scenes of crime where the gun was used. So our officers picked these cartridges. They were taken to forensic department. Examinations were done, and it was found that these cartridges were released by this weapon. And so it is this weapon which has been terrorizing Arua City.
According to the police, most of the robberies involved business centers where the armed robbers were targeting money. Angutia, however, cautions security guards in the various business places to stay alert while on duty.
It is important for people who are deployed to guard such places involving financial transactions to be security conscious, that anytime they can be attacked by people who will be motivated or attracted by the money which is in those centers.
Section 3, subsection 4 of the 1970 Firearms Act of the Republic of Uganda bars any person from illegally possessing, purchasing, or using a gun, and provides a jail term of not exceeding 10 years or a fine not exceeding 60 currency points, or both in case one is arrested and found guilty.
All right, thank you very much, Frederick Dramadri, for that report. Dear viewer, you have understood from the police officers in regard to the gun that has been recovered in connection to this different killings and also, robberies that have really taken place right here in Arua City. And I think we have to give police a plus for this kind of, a job well done. It is not easy to recover a gun. For your information, if you want to recover a gun, you have also to have a gun, or you have to have guns. And so it is not easy to recover a gun, and so that's something that I can really tell you, that we need to give credit where it is due, because it is not easy to recover a gun. And so for you to recover a gun, you have also to have a gun for you to recover the gun. And so that's why the police in Arua City, they were able to recover this particular gun because they were also having a gun. They were also having guns. And so I think the suspected, armed robber could not really withstand the number of guns that he was able to see when these people approached him after failed, robbery that was supposed to take place at Rock Filling Station here in Arua City. And that is something that you need to know in regards to what we do have right there. Dear viewer, allow me to let you know something that has just popped up right this morning. I am talking about the tentative program for the burial of the late, that is Patrick Aloysius Okomoringa, who passed on, that is last week. And so he has not yet been buried, and the people who have been asking questions, when is the burial of the late, Patrick Aloysius Okomoringa? And have just received these particular tentative program that is from the State Minister for Northern Uganda, who is really coordinating these particular, funeral with the government, on behalf of the government. She's really helping to see that the former member of parliament for Padira County, who was also the State Minister for Public Service, is accorded, befitting a burial right here in West Nile at Nebi. And so, according to what we have here, the tentative program started right back on Thursday, 18th of May, 2023, with what we call the mass at the residence of the plot 25 Ntinda 2 road, that is in Inaguru. And so this has been done already on Friday 19th May 2023. There was a vigil, and so this vigil also took place at his residence, that is on plot 25 Tinda 2 road, Naguru. And then also on Saturday 20th May 2023, there was also a vigil at his residence. Then Sunday 21st May 2023, there was also a vigil at his home of residence. And then Monday, today, that is 22nd May, what you need to know today is that there will be a vigil at his residence, that is plot 25 and Tinda 2nd Road, in Naguru. And then also tomorrow, Tuesday, May 2023, Requiem Mass at Charles Luanga Catholic Church, that is in Tinda. And so those who are in Kampala, you can really catch up with these tomorrow, Tuesday 23rd of May 2023. There will be a Requiem Mass for our late former member of parliament for Padira County, and also the former State Minister for Public Service, Patrick Aloysius Okomoringa, who has gone to be with the Lord. And so the program for his burial is ongoing, and different meetings are being held. The COC Nebi team, they started having the meetings way back, last week, and over the weekend the meetings took place at, that is the Ringa buildings right in Nebi. And so the Requiem Mass will be at St. Charles Luanga, Catholic Church in Tinda. Thereafter, official vigil and viewing at the residence, that is plot 25 at Tinda, that is 2 Road in Naguru. And then tomorrow, on Wednesday, 24th of May 2023, there will be a funeral procession to Nebi. That means that the body will be able to leave Kampala to come back home in Nebi. And so there will be a procession. And so I will request that those that are in Biale, those in Kiradongo, those in Karuma, those who are in Noya, those who are in Pakwash, let's really, come in good number to really, give respect to our, a fallen, hero. He could be termed like that, because those who could really remember his contribution during the time of LRA insurgency, you can really bear with me, and you can really, stand to confess that he contributed generously. Remember when this road was not tarmacked, and for you to travel all the way from Kampala to come to that is Nebi or West Nile. If you're from Choli sub-region, I can remember vividly 2002 when I left the Choli sub-region, and I could only hear the name Okomoringa, who had the only storied building that is standing tall in Nebi. Then now we have some that have really added up to the number of the storied buildings that we do have in Nebi. And so for those who would travel from that is Kampala to West Nile, those who would love to go to Yumbe, Koboko, who are here, they would first must have a stopover at his, historic building there and to clean the dust that they really accumulated, because it was not easy for you to travel. You have to be escorted with, with soldiers having harmed to the tooth, you understand, and to see that you really reach the place of your residence. And so it was not easy. And this gentleman that has gone to be with the Lord has contributed greatly to the development of Western sub-region. He is one of those that we cannot really, miss mentioning his names when we are talking about infrastructure development and also, socio-economic development for the people of Greater Nebi, when Nebi was still one, not divided like we do have currently, Pakwash, Nebi, and Zobo. He was one of those that really contributed greatly to the socio-economic empowerment of the local people in Nebi. Remember, he was able to put up several boreholes, to really give clean water to our people in Greater Nebi. Unfortunately, the story that came up later on during the political time, that is in 2018, we could not really, cling on those issues so much, but we have to look at the greater contributions that somebody has been able to make in regards to the development of the area and also the development of the region. And so we would be really, paying our respect to him, as his body will be transported to Nebi. And those who are along the tarmac road all the way from Kampala to Nebi, let us really come and really show that respect. I love the way the Asholi people do it whenever one of their heroes dies, and you see how they really contribute towards supporting each and every step that is being made to ensure that the person is given the befitting send-off, and they go in big number with all the traditional performances happening right there. I can remember when the former LC5 chairperson of Gulu district, that is none other than Colonel, that is the gentleman who was really so instrumental in the return of the peace in northern Uganda. He really contributed greatly, and people also had to pay him back by really according him what he really deserved. And I'm talking about that is none other than Colonel who could really, stand for the people of Asholi. And talking about Lokesh, we did all witness. Talking about that is the general who also passed on, that is General Okera. And also talking about Odoch, I am talking about the former LC5 chairperson of Gulu, who really, passed on, and they surely were able to pay the respect that was accorded. And so for us, the people of Nebi and also the people of West Nile, we need to do the same. There will be also what we call the tribute by the Nebi District Local Government Council that will be sitting on Thursday to really pay the tribute to the late. And also do not forget that Friday, 26th of May, 2023, that will be the burial date that has been put here tentatively, and the requiem mass will be at Nebi Cathedral, and then thereafter the burial will take place at his home, and that is at Jukia Hill in Nebi town, right there for you. And so this is a tentative program for the that is the funeral of the late Honorable Patrick Okomoringa Aloysius, according to the State Minister for Northern Uganda, Honorable Kuyoshin Grace Freedom, who is really helping to coordinate between the COC back home in Nebi and also the government of the Republic of Uganda, since the late was able to really serve in this government as the State Minister for that is Public Service, and also the area member of Parliament for Padira County, that is in Nebi District. And that is a brief that I can really give you right this morning, dear viewer. You have to know that we continue to mourn, and let's continue to pay our respect, and also we continue to support the funeral of the late that is Patrick Aloysius Okomoringa right there. Condolences to the family as they really, mourn the death of their, breadwinner. I would use that particular term because he has really done his part in regards to taking care of that is his family right there. So, dear viewer, on a nasty, ground, there was a serious accident that happened yesterday early in the morning, where a Primo vehicle was really, had a head-on collision with a bus board to Kampala from Kopoko, and I've been told that the Primo has been really damaged to the extent that it can never come back to its normal shape as a Primo. That means that it will be served as a scrap. You know, for those who love buying scrap, you have to know that there's also a scrap that has been, generated already out of that particular Primo, and so it was a very nasty one. I think we have not yet had whether somebody has died, but we have known of several persons who have sustained injuries, and they were rushed to that is the St. Joseph's Hospital, Marasha, where they're receiving treatment, and some people have been also, transferred to Arua Regional Referral Hospital for further management. And that is something that happened yesterday, a nasty one for us here in West Nile. Accident each and every time. And this is just simply according to the eyewitnesses. They say that the driver of the Primo, who was looking drunk, was overtaking, a certain vehicle at a corner. Little did he know that there was, a baby coach that was in front of him, and so as soon as he was overtaking this particular vehicle, he had to ram into this baby coach who was heading to Kampala, and for him was heading to Kopoko. And so you can really try to imagine what an accident that really took place. I'm trying to imagine if I was at the scene by that particular time, witnessing such a nasty accident, I would be admitted as well, because of the psychological shock that I would really develop. And so that is something that we need to do. And so the road users, let us make sure that we use these roads properly. Yes, the traffic police officers have been stationed at different places that we do have along these roads, but they might not contribute 100% to the reduction in the accidents that we do register. Theirs is only to check whether this person is a qualified driver, and this person has really he has his vehicle in a good mechanical condition. In terms of parking and loading, he has properly loaded the required tons of or kilograms of load that this person is supposed to have, because the traffic police officers will not be following you from wherever you will be traveling to, simply because they also have other things that they're supposed to do. But you as an individual, it all rests upon you to determine the speed at which you're supposed to drive, the state of your mind. It is you to determine. And if you love yourself, you will do the right thing. But if you do not love yourself, you will end up doing what is not required. And that's how we always witness some of this accident. For me, I would not use the word accident, because the driver of the Primo knew that if he's overtaking, he's supposed to check whether there's a vehicle that is coming in front or not. But police will be able to issue a very good statement in regards to that. And so we are waiting. So we will be confirming from Josephine Angushe on what exactly happened after maybe the traffic police officer went on ground to to assess the situation. And so right this morning, I cannot blame whether the Primo or the bus or the vehicle that was driving in front of the Primo. And so we will be waiting to get the report from the police spokesperson for West Nile in regards to that particular accident. And so that is something that you need to do in regards to that. So I have been told that I should not call it accident, I should call it road crash, because there was an error that took place between the two. I think an error came from somewhere, and so where an error exists, that is not an accident. You understand? We always define accident to be a sudden happening, and so there are certain things even you can really see that this one, if the person cannot really cause accident, then we leave it to God to decide. And so in most cases, we always see how people use our roads, the motorists, how they always drive and ride on these roads that we do have. And sometimes you wonder, you hold your cheek and you say, God have mercy on that person. Before God has mercy on that particular person, the person himself should really have mercy upon himself. And so that is something that we can really emulate right there. 3 minutes to the top of the hour of 8 a.m. right here on Western Television. Remember, we shall be able to go up to the hour of 9 a.m. here on Western Television. Television. Later on, I will also be diving into what is happening in the world of sports. But before that, we shall be getting to understand what do we have in the dailies today, the Daily Monitor and also the New Vision, because these are the two major papers that we have in our country, Uganda. And for you to get to understand what is happening in our country, Uganda, you get to these two papers. My work will be giving you highlights of some of the top stories that are making headlines in these dailies before we dive into what is happening in the world of sports. Let's go for a break, and when we come back, we still have more for you this morning. My name is Denis Oringi, and you're watching Kokoliriko live on Western Television. Thank you very much those who are catching us live using different social media platforms of Western Television, and also those who are following me live on my social media platforms. We do thank you and we do appreciate you very much. Like my Facebook page as well, and also go to my Twitter handle, follow me right there, and we continue with the conversations that we always have right here. And for those who want to do business with us, we are located at 39A Weatherhead Park Lane right here in Arua City, next to Presidential State Lodge in Anyafu. And for those who know where the home of the former Member of Parliament for Arua Municipality, the slain Member of Parliament, Ibrahim Abiriga, we are just next to his home. And so that is the simple description of where Western Television is, and that is what you can really use as address to locate us easily. And for those who can also use Google Map, you can as well Google Western Television, and the Google Map will also be able to lead you where exactly Western Television is. And if you want to sponsor Kokoliriko show, I am free to have you sponsor the show right here on Western Television. Good morning, let's go for a break.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on StarTimes this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with StarTimes. StarTimes is regulated by UCC.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, good morning, and thank you very much for still being with us this morning. And we are here for you. We have some stories for you this morning in the Daily Monitor. And so there are stories that you need to get to understand. And so what are the stories about? And so government determined to enforce shillings 1 billion that is a fine for power vandals. That's according to the minister right there. And so the State Minister for Energy, that is Sindonios Okasai Opolot, has said government is determined to enforce the hefty, fine of shillings 1 billion to all electricity vandals. And so, according to the Electricity Amendment Bill 2022 passed in April last year, shillings 1 billion fine or a 15 years jail term was set for anyone who is found guilty of vandalizing electricity infrastructure. Will a person be able to afford 1 billion? If affording 1 million is also a problem, maybe the 15 years jail term can really work for this particular case. And so, quoting, that is the Minister of State for Energy, Okasai Upolot, he says here, government has heavily invested a lot of money in rural electrification. And so we expect locals to utilize this electricity to create jobs rather than engaging in vandalism or illegal connections. Those jobs rather than engaging in vandalism or illegal connections, those who attempted to steal electricity or vandalize the infrastructure will pay heavily. And this is what the Minister of State for Energy is saying right there. And so you have to know that on Sunday, he was launching a new electricity power line in Shiboga district, which connects 19 villages to the national power grid right there. So the beneficiary villages are Kawawa, Kasubi, Kibanga, Wabitosi, Ndeba, Degeya, Goyero, Nakasangazi, Kikakwatanda, Bogo, and then also Kabanda, Kaliokonzi, Garisungwa, all in Kandwa sub-county. Others are Wabinyira, Bugogo, Nakasozi, Nakasengerere, Bialambide, Nakija, Nakibwa, all in Kakosozi sub-county right there. And so Opolot urged residents in the beneficiary villages to hire qualified electricians to connect their houses to avoid losses. And this also makes me to ask a question. When will my village be connected to the national grid? If the whole sub-county where I come from has no electricity pole, apart from the electricity poles that are really passing along the tarmac road that passes through my sub-county, deep inside there, not even a single pole has been dropped. And so I think Uganda government should really look into that. So we cannot have the whole sub-county in West Nile without even a pole of electricity, and that is quite unfortunate right there. And so where Kochunchi sub-county is located, I think it's not far away from the tarmac road, and it could be very, very, very easy for the West Nile Rural Electrification Company also to to extend the power line to Kochunchi Health Center, and also the government seed secondary school that we do have right there, plus this private secondary school, that's St. Thomas Aquinas in Kochunchi, Nakanyo. And so these are some institutions that can really also utilize the power that is being generated in Western region properly. And so that is something that you need to know in regards to what is happening right that side. And so we do apologize for that, dear viewer. And so in regards to what you need to know right there. And so other national electricity demand currently stands at, that is 900 megawatts, meaning they will be at liberty to export excess electricity to neighboring countries. And so that is what the State Minister of Energy is saying here, that Uganda will have that liberty to export even electricity. And so if the country is going to export electricity to the neighboring countries when the Western sub-region is not yet connected to the national grid, I think that sounds bizarre right there for you. Okay, away from the issue of power, let's get to other issues. I don't want to get to issues of power properly. On the issue of power, because as a region we still suffer some glitches here and there. And so how Kenya's political games are hunting that East African common market is another issue that you need to know right here, that Kenya's internal politics intrigues are increasingly are becoming what we call a new non-tariff barrier to trade in East African community, potentially harming the success of the common market, with the Ugandan milk producers being the latest victims there for you. And so the Uganda Dairy Development Authority this last week, after complaints from some exporters and producers, said that authorities in Kenya were limiting the number of export permits for powdered milk and issuing others at a slow pace. Brookside, Uganda, a farm linked to Kenya's that is President Uhuru Kenyatta's family, and now one of the Uganda's leading milk producers and exporters alongside that is Pulp Dairies, Jessa Farm Dairy and others complained that their stock was going bad for lack of market. Brookside Uganda General Manager Benson Mwanji said Nairobi is denying the milk processor that is permits, and that those given are often delayed right there. And so that is in regards to how Kenyans in the political games are hurting the East African common market right there. So when we talk about East African, it reminds me of the East African anthem that cannot be sung by the leaders that we have in this country. In most cases, when there are functions, they have to play from the system, and if you make them to sing verbally, you'll hear how confused they will be. And I do not know what has happened to that move to see that all the primary schools really do have, do sing the school anthem, the Uganda national anthem, the East African anthem. So I do not understand what has really happened. So it is quite challenging right there. All right, you have to know that Zelensky says Bakhmut not occupied by Russia is also another information that you need to understand here. And this is in regards to the ongoing war that is in Ukraine and also Russia right there. The Ukrainian, that is a president, Zelensky, said Sunday that Bakhmut was not occupied by Moscow, while the head of Russia's, the Wagner machinery group insisted his fighters had taken control of the eastern city to the last centimeter. Kiev's military said it was hanging on to a small part of the city and said its troops were advancing on its flanks. The Bakhmut, a salt mining town that once had a population of 70,000 people, has been the scene of some of the bloodiest fighting in Moscow's 15-month Ukraine offensive. And so a day earlier, Wagner and Moscow's regular army claimed to have fully captured Bakhmut, with the Russian President Vladimir Putin congratulating them on the alleged conquest. By speaking to the G7 summit in Hiroshima, Zelensky denied Russia's claims Bakhmut is not occupied by Russia today, and so he said during a press conference right there. And so quoting him verbatim, he says here, "I cannot share with you the tactical views of our military. The most difficult thing would be if there was some tactical mistake that is in Bakhmut and our people were surrounded." Sitting next to US President Joe Biden, Zelensky suggested it would be a victory for Moscow right there. And so that's what you have to know in the international scene in regards to the ongoing the Ukraine and Russia war that has really claimed lives and displaced thousands of people right there. Magistrate sacked for refusing to hand over litigants shilling 7 million is another thing that you need to know, that each and every person loves money. Even if you know the law, you still have the money. And here, a grade 1 magistrate has been dismissed from judicial service for abusing his authority when he withdrew over shillings 7 million meant for a litigant and refused to hand it over. Latif Abubakar Nakibinge was convicted and dismissed by the Judicial Service Commission in its sitting held on May 12, 2023 under minutes 3731 JSC of 2023 on the basis of his own plea of guilty. And so, quoting from this particular communication that has been made by the Judicial Service Commission, on the basis of your own plea entered with respect to the state charges during the course of the disciplinary committee proceedings, your unequivocal admission of having not paid 7 million to, that is Kamugunda of Matovu and Kamugunda and Company Advocates Council for the defendant in respect for this matter, and your plea asking for leniencies to be exercised. The commission held you to have committed the said, that is disciplinary offense as charged, reads in part the May 17th dismissal notice to magistrate, that is Nakibinge. Adding on the account of the foregoing, the commission resolved that there were no grounds for exercise of leniencies as prayed, and resolved that you be dismissed from the judicial service with immediate effect right there. And so the ante has been hunted right there. And so the thing that can really go around picking people's money and not really paying them is something that the Judicial Service Commission will not really tolerate right there. Kampala International University Guild president dies in road crash. 5 hospitalized is something that you need to know right there, that the traffic police in Katonga region are investigating a motor vehicle crash that claimed the life of Kampala International University Guild President Western Campus Douglas Matovu and left 5 others injured. The 2 a.m. Sunday crash happened at Zinda Bulwanda Village, Gomba District on Pijing Kanoni Sembabule Road right there. Moses Kiberu Salambwa, an eyewitness, said Matovu died after the speeding Subaru vehicle he was driving rammed into a truck which was moving ahead of him. I think maybe his speed was a little bit too much right there. 2 of the 5 people who were traveling with Matovu and sustained serious injuries are currently admitted at Gombe Hospital. The other 3 were transferred to Kampala for better medical attention. The driver of the truck, Seruga Asada 29, escaped unhurt. Matovu has been pursuing a Bachelor of Pharmacy at Kampala International University. It's barely a month since he was elected to Guild and sworn in on April 19th. Is something that you need to know right there. It's quite unfortunate to the family of the Kampala International University upon the demise of their Guild president. That is the Western Campus right there. Uganda Human Rights Commission recommends demolition of over 150 dilapidated police stations. Post is what you need to know. I have been advocating for the better housing for men in uniform. I think Uganda Human Rights Commission has also really, added their voice to what I personally have been really advocating. As somebody who has also been able to live in some of these barracks that we have in our country, Uganda, let me tell you, the condition of the facilities, the housing facilities for these officers, for these men in uniform is really there, and that needs to be improved. I love what is going on. That is at Bondo Army Barracks. There are good construction work that is going on. I do not know those structures are going to be for which category of people, but I have known that there are officers, who are always accommodated in such, facilities right there. And so I have been told that that place, that Army Barracks in called Bondo, will be improved. But away from that, let's get to this report by Uganda Human Rights Commission in regards to the dilapidated, police stations and posts that we do have in our country. Uganda, so 150, dilapidated police stations and posts will be demolished. That is the recommendation that has been given by Uganda Human Rights Commission right there. You have to know here that according to the report, a total of 153 police stations and posts inspected by the Commission last year were found with dilapidated infrastructure not safe for human accommodation, while some stations did not have toilet facilities. And where do they defecate men in uniform? Oh, it is horror. You understand? And it's quite unfortunate right there for our men in uniform. A total of that is 437 police stations and posts housed in rented premises, 728 are in local government structures, while 551 are in community housed facilities. At least 245 are in NGO structures, and those in Uganda Police Force owned structures are only 455. Oh, so we still don't have our own facilities as the Uganda Police Force. So amid these challenges, the same report indicates that Uganda Police Force was the major perpetrator in violating human rights and freedoms, where 441 complaints against force were registered by the Commission. And so the 2022 Uganda Human Rights Commission report on the state of human rights and freedoms in Uganda has revealed that at least 150 police stations and posts are housed in dilapidated buildings and facilities, with the majority of the buildings requiring an overhaul reconstruction for the safety of the resident police officers. According to the report, a total of 153 police stations and posts inspected by the Commission last year were found with dilapidated infrastructure not safe for human accommodation, while some stations did not have toilet facilities. And so we do have police stations in Uganda that are not having toilet facilities. It's quite unfortunate. So we still have people who defecate in the bush or defecate in basket, and then they just go and dig a hole somewhere and then they pour. It's quite unfortunate, right, that we do have men in uniform defecating outside. I am not mocking at them. I know the kind of life that they're going through, the condition of life that they're going through. And so somebody advised me that I should join the force. I said, if the condition of the barracks and the stations are like that, I need not to begin defecating. I need not to join and begin defecating in the bush. And this is one of the reasons why I could not really join the force. That is simple. Infrastructure. Because my life has also to be good. I have to be properly accommodated because I am protecting life and property here in our country, Uganda. And while for the soldiers, they are really in charge of the boundary, protecting, the sovereignty of this country. And so they have to be properly housed. And so that is it. I think to the forces, the UPDF and also the Uganda Police Force, you have a work to do. You have works to do. And so let's first start by advocating for proper housing facilities for our officers. Go to 4th Division in Gulu and see the structures that the soldiers are being housed. Come to Bondo here. Even come here to Arua City. There's a detached. I do not know whether it's a detached. It's a barracks here. And see how the soldiers are being housed. Mama Ingia Pole. We still have Mama Ingia Pole in this, in this 21st century. It's quite unfortunate right there. Even if, they're not permanent in where they stay, at least they should be properly housed. And so that when they're leaving, they leave the room for another person. And you know what? For the soldiers, when they have constructed and they want to leave, they demolish. Because they don't want another officers to come and enter in a house that they use their own money to construct. I also constructed, much as I was not a soldier. I was in the barracks. I know what it takes for a UPDF soldiers to be housed. And I know what it takes for a police officer to have a roof over him. Yet he works for the government. It's quite unfortunate. And so we need to advocate. We have Parliament of the Republic of Uganda. I do not know whether these members of Parliament get to understand the life that the soldiers and the police officers are living, whether they really, feel the kind of life that these officers are living. Now, when you hear currently the rampant shooting taking place in our country, Uganda, and nobody seems to be understanding the root cause of these shootings. Stress, you understand, life is becoming very hard. And somebody says, I have a gun, you see, I have a gun. So what can I do? I can finish somebody's life, or I can finish my life. And so that is now what is currently happening. It's quite unfortunate that psychological support is not properly being given to these officers in uniform. And so if government of the Republic of Uganda can really invest a lot in psychological support to be given to these officers. We have soldiers who are being retired, but little is being done as far as psychological support is concerned. I am speaking this with passion, and I am speaking this with the context that I get to understand, because I have lived with these people. I have stayed with them for over 15 years. And so I have been witnessing and reporting on the issues to do with, relieving of our men in uniform from duty, retiring them officially. And I've ever attended functions where soldiers are being retired. And they're just told, please go. We have ended. But that period that this person is going to leave the work, what happens exactly? And if the person is remaining with 2 to 3 months for him or her to retire from the service, what does the UPDF do in preparation for this person to come back and mix with the people that he has not been with them for quite many years? And the people who are being retired after serving in this country for over 30 years, and this person has not been living with his community members. And if this person comes back to mix with the community members, how do you want the person to behave? Do you take that person through that that support, that psychological support? Remember, they will not be now holding guns. They will no longer be saluting. Understand? And so how should they really mix with the community? They will not be now frog jumping, as it is the case when they're still serving. You understand? And so how do we support these persons? And I think the Uganda People's Defense Forces should really look into that, and also Uganda Police Force should also look into that. Psychological support is very, very key. During COVID-19, the language was psychological support to those that are being admitted because they say that you have been put aloof from other community members. So they need to be advised and that, see here, this is not final. You're not going to die of COVID-19. What you have to do is that please take your medication properly. Please observe, put on your face mask, wash your hands. And these are kind of talks that I want also Uganda People Defense Forces and also Uganda Police Force to be talking to the officers. Look here, the gun is not to kill. The gun is to protect, and use the gun in this way and there. And if the problem is money, you don't have money, you no longer hand your salary yourself. Somebody's the one withdrawing your salary from the bank. And remember, when you joined the force, you were the one going to the bank, and you was really very proud person if you go and stand in the line, where people are withdrawing from the ATM. And now currently it is not you going to the ATM, it is another person who you have borrowed his or her money, is the one going to withdraw your salary, and he or she has your PIN number. That psychological torture that you go through, that I'm no longer in charge of my own money, somebody else is the one in charge of my own money, and yet I am continuing to give the service to this country, and the money that I get at the end of the month is 10,000. That is the only balance that the person who gave me the money has. And so that is, you see, that this kind of life, And it is worse during this time of 21st or 20th to 30th. You find soldiers are now going to, to the bush looking for greens because they can no longer afford something that they used to eat when the money comes. And so the aspect of the psychological support is very important for our soldiers and for our men in uniform, the police officers. I am speaking this with a lot of, a heavy heart because I know what they always go through. I hope they will not hunt for me because I'm talking about the life that they're going through. Let me tell you, your life can be better if you are supported psychologically. But if you're not supported psychologically, we shall continue to see people dying in this country. Those who have the gun shooting themselves. We have had a number of people who have shot themselves. And ask yourself, why should somebody be able to shoot him or herself? You understand. And so that is something I thought it is important that I should really be able to bring to your attention. Let's go for a break, and when we come back, we still have more for you in the New Vision this morning. My name is Denis Oringi, and I have to tell you that it is a fresh week. It's a Monday, 22nd of May, 2023. Let's go for a break. Good morning.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, we'll be back. You have to know that 25 minutes past the hour of 8 a.m. right on West Star Television. Allow me to dive into what we have in the New Vision today. A quick one. You have to know that in-law accused of murdering senior 6 student in Bududa is something that you need to know, right? That Bulusheke Secondary School, student, in Bududa district has been murdered in cold blood allegedly by his in-law. And so reports indicate that on Sunday afternoon, Andrew Watetela, 21-year-old, arrested of, that is Bumakita parish in Nalwen's sub-county Bududa district, visited Samuel Manchester's, his in-law, together with his girlfriend. And the duo was warmly welcomed in the house. Shortly after, Manchester, allegedly returned with a panga and hacked Watetela to death. It is allegedly that Watetela's girlfriend, Vivian Wabuyaka, who is a student at Nabumali High School, survived the ordeal with serious injuries. PDM cited in murder. According to information from the neighbors, who were at the scene of the crime, Mashestesia had allegedly wrangled, with his wife over her refusal to give him a share of the parish development model. The wife allegedly fled her marital home to Kenya, where she is living over the wrangle. And so Mashestesia, who has been living alone for close to 2 months, was allegedly bitter with all his in-laws, whom he suspected to have advised their sister to flee to Kenya. And that is something that you have to know in regards to that incident that has happened right there, that side of Bududa. Okay, a battle weary Sudanese hope upcoming truce. The final holes is another thing that you need to know, that a joint US-Saudi statement acknowledged the multiple truce violations since fighting began on April 15th, 2023, and said this time is different. And so the agreement reached in Jeddah was signed by the parties and will be supported by US, Saudi, and international supported ceasefire monitoring mechanism. That is according to the statement that has been issued in regards to the hope that this time mediators can monitor that the ceasefire is implemented. And so fighting pits the Sudanese army commanded by General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan against the paramilitary rapid response forces, that is RSF, led by that is Burhan's former deputy Mohammed, that is Hamdan Daglo right there. So the United Nations, African Union, and East African Bloc, IGAD, all welcomed the latest truce, which comes after around 1,000 people lost their lives. More than 1 million have been uprooted internally or by crossing into neighboring countries. Millions are trapped with sporadic access to water, electricity, or medicine. Many have been separated from their families by unrelenting gunfire. And so for Sosan Mohammed, who lives in the capital South, the ceasefire, if implemented, will be his first chance to see his mother and father in Omdurman, just a bridge across the River Nile. That's according to that is the AFP report right there. And so the aerial footage last week showed us the hellish scene in the Omdurman market area, a heavily built up district where multiple fires burned and people ran on rubble streets. The United Nations aid chief Martins, that is Griffiths, has decried important and egregious breaches of an agreement signed by the warring parties on May 12 in Jeddah to respect humanitarian principles and allow in a badly needed aid. The United Nations report on Sunday said there had been at least 11 attacks against humanitarian premises in Khartoum and 4 new attacks against health facilities since the May 12 signing right there. So the agreement is an integral part of the latest ceasefire deal. A text released by the United States says there. Along with Khartoum, the western region of Darfur has seen some of the worst violence. The United Nations reported hundreds of people killed in West Darfur, and on Sunday said all 86 gathering sites for displaced people in El Janina have reportedly been burned to the ground. And so Darfur is still reeling from a conflict that erupted in 2003. You can remember vividly when former autocrat Omar al-Bashir unleashed the feared Janjaweed militia, which formed the basis for the RSF to crush a rebellion by ethnic minority groups that is in Darfur. So Burhan on Friday officially sacked Daglo from the position he held on a governing council formed after they launched a coup in October 2021. And so their push derailed a transition to civilian rule, but in place following the Bashir's overthrow in 2019. And so end the war. Former rebel leader Malik Agar, who replaced Daglo as the council's vice president on Saturday, said he was determined to try to end the war. He also directly addressed Daglo, whose dispute with Burhan over the RSF integration into the regular army led to the war. And so residents of densely populated neighborhoods have accused RSF fighters of widespread break-ins and lootings that have taken place in Sudan. So in the Vatican on Sunday, Pope Francis welcomed the partial agreements reached so far, but called on the international community to spare no effort to ease the suffering of the people. With most banks shattered, warehouses and factories looted, attacked and burned, and fuel in scarce supply, access to food across Sudan is becoming increasingly difficult. Aid agencies have been ramping up their response despite the challenges. So currently 25 million people, more than half of the population, need humanitarian aid, the United Nations said. So the head of the global body Sudan mission, that is Volker Perthes, is to brief the United Nations Security Council today, Monday. And so Sudan has also on the world stage at Cannes, where director Mohamed Kordofani's Goodbye Julia became the first Sudanese film featured in the official selection. Kordofani said he felt honored and proud, but also guilty, because while I am on the red carpet, people are trying to flee the bombs right there. And so that's something that you need to know in regards to what we have in the New Vision today, plus other stories that you will be able to get in the papers. And that's something that I can really bring to your attention. How plastics are turning your food into slow poison is also something that you need to get and read in the New Vision today. And so Rampara district engineers interdicted over shillings, that is 400 million road funds. Is another story that you can really get interested into to understand how people are really using road fund in different districts, even in your district where you are watching Western Television live from. Right there. It is 28 minutes to the top of the hour, that is 9 a.m. Remember, our opinion poll still stands that a primary school in Arua City has really suspended indefinitely the contract of 6 teachers when they applied for government job here in Arua City. But they are still waiting whether they will be picked to work with Arua City or not. But in the process of them waiting for the successful candidates to be released, they are not teaching, and this has not gone well with these teachers. So we ask you, did the school make the right decision to terminate, to suspend the contract of these teachers indefinitely as they wait for the shortlist of the successful, candidates right there? Let's go for a break, and when we come back, we shall be diving into what we have in the world of sport. And then later on, before I sign out, I will be sampling some of the comments that we have received right here on our social media platforms, where people are streaming us live. Good morning.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon Channel for Best Children Entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Yeah, viewer, welcome back. Thank you very much for joining us again. It's already at 24 minutes to the top of the hour of 9 a.m. right here on Western Television. It's time for me to give you the sport highlights right this morning, what you need to know in the world of sports. We are starting right from the Uganda Cup. You have to know that Vipers mauled Stars to gain first leg advantage right there for you. And so this is good news for Vipers as they really look forward to really having another game that they will be playing right there in the second leg. And so this is the first leg. So Bright Nukani scored a brace while Yunus Sentamu and Harim Wantambala added the other goals as Vipers mauled visiting Bright Stars 4-0 at St. Mary's Stadium Kitende in the first leg of the Stanbic Uganda Cup. And Nukani converted a controversial penalty inside the first 10 minutes when Milton Risa went down in the area. Although replays showed there was no contact from that is Warren Bubble is something that you need to know. So the Sentamu made it 2-0 shortly in the 16 minutes before Anukani completed his brace with a strike from his own half, showing great technique and vision to beat Hassan Matovu, who was off his line. So the route was completed in the 19 minutes when Watambala sent Matovu the wrong way from 12 yards after substitute Cromwell Rotomeo Abang was fouled in the area is what you need to know. So Bright Stars had good chances before and after conceding, but you have to know that some, Senyonjo and Emmanuel Loki were lethargic is what you need to know. The two sides face off again on May 30th with the aggregate winner playing in the final against Adjumani Town Council or Police, who are in the semi-final, which the Cops lead 1-0 from the first leg right there for you in Uganda Cup. And so that is good news for Vipers as they wait for the second leg that will be played on 30th of May right there. And so from West Nile, I think we are proud that Adjumani Town Council is still there in the Uganda Cup, and so we are waiting for the next game that they're going to play with the Police. And so that's something that you need to know, that in aggregate the other time they were really defeated by Police 1-0, and so Police has got 1 goal aggregate ahead of the second leg that they're going to play right there. And so we still have more in the world of sports right this morning, more especially local. And you have to know that Busiro Sasa management confirms that Kiria other backroom staff is also another thing that you need to know. That you have to also know that excelling players rewarded at a 2023 Uganda Secondary School Sport Association Boys Football Championship, where the trophy has been taken by that is St. Mary's Kitende right there. And so with the good football pitch that they do have at their school, this can really make them qualify and also really perform the way they were able to perform. With 11 goals to his name, Abdul Noor Nsereko of champion St. Mary's Boarding School Kitende, finished as top scorer to scoop the tournament golden boot. And so endowed with the deep runs from center midfield, Nsereko, also a player at Uganda Police Football Club in the Star Times FIFA big finish to the back of the net in all styles: headers, low drives, tap-ins, distant shots, and rebounds is what you need to know. So St. Mary's Kitende was able to beat St. Henry's College Kitovu. I told you the other time that the final of Uganda Secondary School Sports Association 2023 will be played between St. Mary's Kitende and that is St. Henry's College Kitovu, because I know the competences of these two schools when it comes to football. This is not the first time that we are hearing the name of St. Mary's Kitende in Uganda's secondary school football, and also St. Henry's College Kitovu. These schools invest a lot in sports. For your information, go to St. Mary's Kitende and check on the playground. You will be impressed, and you will even say, I think even if I don't know how to play, I will be able to score if I do serious training on this ground. And the same applied to St. Mary's College Kitovu. Not like ours, this one from West Nile. They cannot manage. Look at the kind of football pitch that they're using for playing this game. You cannot compete against St. Mary's Kitende. I am not really in support of Kitende, but I'm supporting what I see vividly. When you're supporting football, don't look at those tactical, bits of it. First of all, start with the physical, outlook. What you see from the players, the dress code of the players, the football pitch where they do their training from, and then other issues of tactics will really come later. I don't want to dive into those issues. Those of Frudivo Owen talking about Benson and also Lady Susan, they will be analyzing for you those one. The tactics, other things, because I don't sit on the technical bench. Mine is observe from afar how the pitch is. The other time when Nebi Central lost to that is they were able to lose that game that they played here at Unduparaka. I did tell people that, you see, this pitch is not comfortable for that is Nebi Central players, because they're used to their pitch. And so the way they were playing their game here, I knew that they would not make it because of the nature of the pitch. Yes, Greenlight Stadium might be the best pitch in West Nile, maybe because of fencing, but when it comes to leveling, Greenlight Stadium, to me, it's not yet properly leveled, like St. Mary's Kitende's, playground, and also St. St. Henry's College Kitovu. And so if Nebi Central was supposed to play their game, that is at St. Mary's Kitende, they would really perform differently, unlike the performance that they really exhibited right here at Greenlight Stadium, Uduparaka. So Greenlight Stadium is not yet to the standard for me when it comes to the leveling of the ground. I am a player. I know what happens. I know how a ball runs on the pitch. And so when you see a ball trotting, on the pitch, that means that the ground is not properly leveled. If you are to play at that is Tuambe Arena, and you go and play at Uduparaka, you will get some difference in what I'm talking about. So that means that we have to invest heavily on our football pitches that we do have. Leveling is very key. When you have a level pitch, trust me, it will be nice for you to play games right there. And so you have to know that individual awards, most valuable player, that is MVP, was given to Alan Oyirwot from Amusa College School. Top scorer, Abdunor Serko of St. Mary's Boarding School, Kitende, 11 goals. Best goalkeeper was given to, that is Kamia of Royal Giant High School, Shamlan. The 2023 Uganda Secondary School Sports Association Boys of Football National Championship successfully came to a climax on Saturday, 20th May at, that is Nyakasura School Playground in Fort Portal, Tourism City, right there. So Wakiso-based St. Mary's Boarding Secondary School, Kitende was the overall champion after pipping St. Mary Henry's College Kitovu 1-0 during the final match. Abib Oloya, a player attached to Wakiso Giants in the Star Times Uganda Premier League, was the hero with the only goal of the game. Oloya brushed Oloya brushed home a visiting throw-in from the captain Justin Opiro, roving right back in the opening 20 minutes right there. So this was the 12th national trophy for St. Mary's Boarding School Kitende. St. Mary's Kitende, defended gallantly and in numbers to win the 1-0 as they lifted their 12th title in as many years. And so Royal Giant High School Mitiana finished third after defeating Amus College 4-2 to scoop the bronze. Juma Kizitu and Ernest Ankunda each scored a brace for Royal Giant High School during an hill-tempered game. Abdul Razak and Alan Oyirwot replied for Amus College School. Individual excelling players, out of their 1,600 student players, a number of them were spotted and singled out by the technical team for the organizing committee. And so the overall most outstanding player of the tournament was lethal forward Alan Oyirwot, a student at Amus College School. Oyirwot carried forward the Amus College School team with odd assists and goals. He was the leader of the team up front, and his experience pushed them through the group stages round of 16 and quarterfinals before bowing out to St. Mary's Kitende in the semi-finals. Oyirwot is well built, technically skilled, and gifted with strength in header, foot. And so, quoting him, he said, "I played for the team, and being MVP is a bonus to me and the team at large. I want to play professional football." That is according to Oyirwot right there. And so we are very happy as the people of Greater Allure of having a person who can really, emerge from such, a tournament, and we do appreciate him for the display that he was able to show right there. He hails from Pakwash, is something that I have to let you know right this morning. UPDF Black Power snooze. We are talking about issues to do with that is Star Times Uganda Premier League right here. And so you have to know that on March 29th, that is on Friday, relegation battle results on Uduparaka 1, Black Powers 0. And so Gaddafi had to play all draw with the UPDF 0-0. The survival battle in the Star Times Uganda Premier League could range on until the final day after two drop candidates, UPDF and Black Powers, failed to seize the opportunity to boost their chances of staying up on Friday. Is something that you need to know. Instead, Black Power lost 1 goal 2-0 away to already relegated Ondopraka at the Greenlight Stadium, and UPDF drew a goalless at Gaddafi. Hood Kakoza scored for Ondopraka on 43 minutes, and then who knows, the point at Kakindu Stadium might just prove the difference for UPDF at the end of the season. But for now, the Soldiers will rue a missed opportunity to establish that is some breathing space between them and Busoga United, who are not in action until next Tuesday tomorrow. It doesn't even help UPDF that they are left with only one game, with Busoga and Black Powers each have 2 matches left to play. For now, the point momentarily, allowed UPDF to dislodge Busoga from 12th, position. The Army men and Busoga have the same number of points at 27. With the Black Powers, who currently occupy the only remaining relegation post on 23 points. Permutations, despite not sealing the deal early, all UPDF need is to beat relegated Ondopraka in their only remaining game, and they are safe. Victory at Bombo on March 30th will send the Soldiers to 30 points, which would effectively relegate Black Powers. So the most points Black Powers can get at the end of the season, if they won their 2 remaining games, is at 29. And so Busoga United too could confirm their safety with the victory at home to KCCA on Tuesday tomorrow, although that would be quite an achievement given that the latter cannot afford any slip up as they are chasing for the title. Now for Black Powers, there are no second chances. Defeat at title chasing Villa next Tuesday will end their top flight football misery with a game to spare. And so relegation battle remaining matches, UPDF having 27 points, they have a game with Ondopraka at home, and then Busoga United with 27 points, they have their 2 games with KCCA and Vipers, and these are 2 strong teams, and I do not know whether Busoga will be able to manage that is the KCCA and Vipers as we do talk right now. While meanwhile for Black's Power, they have 23 points, they still have 2 games remaining. Sporting Club Villa and Express is what you need to know. Ondopraka 19 points, they have a game with the UPDF, but for them they are already relegated. And so my brother, the Zone de Pro, do not worry. You come back to FOFA Big League and you will pick up from there. If you perform well in FOFA Big League, then you'll go back, but if you will not perform well, you will be relegated to West Nile Regional League, and then from West Nile Regional League, if you don't perform well, you will be relegated to that is the division. I don't know whether Division 3 or Division 2 or Division 1. That will be best explained by Fudribo Owen, Benson and Lady Susie right there. Let's get away from that. Let's get to Kitara FC, win their first ever FOFA Big League title. The NEC promoted as well is what you need to know. Kitara Football Club on Thursday clinched their first ever FOFA Big League title after dismantling Karo Karunji through a penalty on the final match day 30th of Uganda's second highest football that is division that we have in our country, Uganda. On form, midfielder Paul Muchurizi converted for the Royals as they oiled their glorious return to top flight status as winners of the debut season of the redesigned promotion formats to the top tier. Victory against the Western Bulls means the oil-rich Oima City march into the Uganda Premier League with an unbeaten home run, winning 13 and drawing 2 at Tekigaya grounds is what you need to know. Further on Thursday, Karunji drowned in a red sea of electrifying chants by over 7,000 week-long partying fans at Tekigaya grounds, arguably the biggest attendance of the team through the season. The big league runners-up Mbara City FC subjected relegated Northern Gateway to 3-0 defeat as they put their point tally at 61 below the log leaders. NEC FC promoted on Thursday, NEC FC strolled into the Uganda Premier League, ensuring that Police FC will at least have another season of second division football. To confirm its third sports direct qualification, NEC handed Kataka a 4-1 demolition to go 3 points ahead of the Cops, who were held 1-1 draw by visitors Ginger North FC. And so relegated from the FOFA Big League, we have Soroti City FC, Luero United FC, Northern Gateway Soccer Club. And so that is what we have in the FOFA, that is Big League for you right there. So congratulations to Kitara and the team from that is West Nile Ajumani together with that is Calvary Midigo. They are still, behaving in the FOFA Big League. I do not know whether they will also be able to emerge to Star Times Uganda Premier League. Fudribo Owen being one of the the officials of Calvary will be able to explain to us what is happening, whether they will be able to qualify to Uganda Star Times Premier League right there. And so that will be for another day. But for now, away from that is Ugandan football, let's get to what is happening in the world of football. In Europe, you have to know yesterday Manchester City celebrated title coronation with Chelsea victory. Yesterday, it was really not good for Chelsea and also not good for our brothers and sisters who are Aston fans and supporters that finally they will not be able to touch the trophy, but they have gotten themselves playing that is Champions League again after a long period of time is what I can really tell you this morning, that Manchester City celebrated the Premier League title coronation in style with 1-0 win over a toothless Chelsea at the Etihad Stadium right there. Following the customary guard of honor from Frank Lampard's players, a solitary Julian Alvarez A4 to got the job done for Pep Guardiola's that is side before a large-scale pitch invasion. Thanks to Nottingham Forest win over Arsenal the day before, which ensured the third straight Premier League title for the men in Sky Blue, Guardiola's did not hesitate to make a wealth of changes to his starting 11 from their midweek Champions League romping of Real Madrid. 9 changes handed the likes of Alvarez, Cole Palmer, Stephens, Ortega, Sergio Gomez, Phil Foden, and scarcely seen Calvin Phillips opportunities to impress, and the former two combined for a deserved opener after just 12 minutes right there. So experiencing penalty of joy down the left, Frank Palmer burst forward before getting his head up and picking up the run of Alvarez, who clinically fired across a captor that is Azir Balanga and into the bottom corner just from inside the box. And so initially there was no hint of complacency from Guardiola's champions as the Etihad party kicked up a notch, although their efforts were helped by a disjointed Chelsea side as Lampard cut a very bleak figure on the touch line. City's defenders barely broke a sweat in the opening half hour, but the visitors belatedly showed some signs of life towards the end of the first half, and Ortega fastly had to make himself big to trap ex-Citizens attacker Ramsey Sterling with that is 33 minutes gone right there. And so finally Manchester City crowned the winner of the 2022-2023 Premier League title right there with 88 points. Arsenal second with 81 points. So 7 points ahead of Arsenal is what you need to know. Newcastle is number 3 with 69 points, and then Manchester United is number 4. I think Newcastle, Arsenal, Manchester United and Man City, they have qualified for a Champions League right there. Liverpool, I do not know whether they will be able to make it because if they still have a game that they're supposed to play, and also Newcastle has 2 games that they're supposed to play. Manchester United also have 2 games to play to make it. That is 30 to make it 38. And so over the weekend I have to tell you that it is going to be a very nice games to watch right there, as tables will be changing at any time. Whenever a score is made, you will see a team climbing or dropping, and that will be so interesting. That will be next week, and also this week there are some games that will also be played. You have to know that today the game that will be played will be Newcastle taking on Leicester. The game is going to be at 8 p.m. and also we shall see whether this particular game of Newcastle will cause some changes in the Premier League log right there for you. And away from that, let's get to what we have in the world of transfers for you before I get to sample some of the comments that we have right for you in our opinion poll this morning. And so in transfers, you have to know that Chelsea considering move for Brentford's David Raya is also another transfer talk that we are getting right here, that Chelsea is considering moving to that is Brentford's to have David Raya join the team right there. So Chelsea have reportedly identified the Brentford goalkeeper David Raya as a potential target for the summer transfer window, with at least one of Edward Mendy and Kepa Azirabalaga expected to leave this summer. Chelsea will delve into the market in search of a new number 1. Mauricio Pochettino, who is set to become the new Chelsea boss, has given his blessing for Chelsea to pursue their priority target, Inter Milan goalkeeper Andre Onana, right there also for you. And so that's what we can really get from the world of sports. That is from that is Premier League right there for you. And so Chelsea yet to submit bid for Juventus striker Dusan Volvic is another thing. Then Roma targeting Leicester City's Yuri Tielemans is also another one. And then also Arsenal open to offer for Rob Holdings this summer. And then Arsenal also facing battle to keep up for William Saliba. This is also another news that you can really get right there. Let's get to the opinion polls questions that we did ask this morning. And if we do have some comments, if my producer can really flash the comments right on at the screen, I will really be able to appreciate right there for you. All right, we have this one coming in from Long the ex Lavelle, who says that good morning, and to me the decision made by the school administrators is very that is right, because if those 6 teachers get to another job, they will really leave the school stranded. And so it's important that they give opportunity space for the school to identify teachers who can really replace them right there. And so that is something that we can really sample. That is from Long the ex Lavelle right there for you. If we do have another one, and that one is from Facebook, we thank you very much, Long the ex Lavelle right there for you. We do appreciate you. All right, dear viewer, do we have still other comments that we do have? If they're there, fine and okay. If not, we have 3 minutes to the top of the hour of 9 a.m. right on Western Television, and I will be able to get out of the studio. It's not easy to talk for 2 hours right from 7 up to this particular time, and so it's important that I should also be able to have that moment of taking some rest for some time, and then other issues will really be following right there. All right, if not, I think, dear viewer, allow me to say thank you very much for being with us up to this particular time that we are getting out of the studio, and allow me to appreciate very much my producer, that is Aldo Manano, for really working tirelessly to see that the show comes to pass at this particular time for this Monday. And thanks to my camera person, Dizon the Pro, for really working on the camera, and that's why I'm looking the way you are watching me, wherever you are watching me from. And allow me to thank very much each and every person who is always, and they are really supporting me in whatever information that I always pass right there. So it's a collection of people to see that we succeed. And big up to the news team that we have here at Western Television for always giving us the information that we can really pass to the people. And also allow me to thank very much the sports department for always giving me the right information in regards to sport. I am not all that good in analyzing sports, but I am a good player. Mine is social, economic, and political issues. There, I don't have any problem right there. Thank you very much. Have the best of your morning.